Welcome to another episode of Life, Love, and Pursuit of Fire podcast. I'm your host, Greg Gaskin.
I'm your other host, Austin Culp.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. And today, I guess, we are going to just be our own guests. This episode, we just decided to kind of take it differently and be our own guests and kind of have a check-in, right?
Yeah. So, speaking of checking in, what's been going on with you lately, man? I see you got a haircut. No more braids.
Yeah. If for those who are able to watch on YouTube and who can see us in person, one of our previous episodes, I had braids in my hair. It was because I got into a motorcycle wreck recently, and I went braided. But recently, I cut my hair, and I donated it to Children with Hair Loss. It's like an organization who gives hair to children who lose their hair from like cancer or alopecia, and they give it to the children for free. So just an organization that's someone brought to my attention, and so I thought I would, grow out my hair and support and donate it.
That is awesome. So, speaking of your motorcycle accident, how are you healing up? Everything healing up all right for you?
Yeah, it's taking a little bit of time. There's still pain in my wrists and arm a little bit. My leg is better. It's still in a brace. People can't see that because it's under my table, but I'm still in like a full leg brace for my leg. I'm able to bend it like 10 degrees more each week until I can get back into normalcy. But yeah, it's slowly coming, but it'll be okay. It's just taking a little bit of time.
Nice. Well, glad to hear everything's healing up all right and you're doing all right.
Yeah. It's all good so far. Hopefully everything continues to go well, but we shall see, right?
Yeah.
So, how have you been doing with all the current market conditions, let's say? How have you been holding up?
I have been doing all right. I try not to check my portfolio too often, but I have been. I've been selling options, thanks to our good friend VJ. After that episode, I started diving into learning options trading, and that's helped my portfolio at least maintain a little bit.
Okay. So, did you take VJ's online course?
I have not taken his course. I really don't like paying for courses. I don't know why. It's just a thing for me. Like, I would love to, like, if I had the money and I really wanted to, like, go gung ho with options, but it's just, just like a chill thing just to keep my balance maintained. Not like I got to be an overnight millionaire.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you had a lot of success with the options trading that you're doing?
Yeah. So pretty much I am doing what's called the wheel strategy. So like I pick a stock that I like and I'll buy cash secure puts on it. And then if I get assigned, I'll hold it for a little bit, and then once the price starts going up, I'll sell it. I'll sell a covered call on it. And then if I get it taken away, then I just repeat it with a different stock or the same stocks.
Okay. And it's been a good strategy for you so far?
Yeah, it's been so far, because my balance isn't too high. I've just, making an extra like $20 to $30 a week just doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, keeping it simple for now until I build up my balance.
How long have you been doing the options?
Um, when was our VJ episode?
It was a few episodes ago.
So like earlier this year, that's when I like started. Right, like shortly after that episode is when I started looking into it and finally did it.
Okay. Yeah, so I actually signed up for VJ's course. I haven't taken it yet, but that's on my to-do list. So I will be taking his course as soon as I can. And I'm hoping to learn the strategy and hoping to, be able to, hit fire sooner from it. I think that's just kind of like one of our biggest issues is trying to make sure that we find other ways of income that we can also invest with, right, to help get us to fire faster.
Oh yeah. I feel like options is also a good way to get a return on just like your cash. So like if you use like your emergency fund to do it, instead of getting like 1 to 2% for like a year on your balance, just keeping like a savings account. Sell some out of the money puts. You can get at least like 0.5% or 1% like a month just doing that.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a good way. If I will say that, I think the only risk, one of the few risks with doing this is like you need to be educated in what you're doing, right? Like making sure you understand what you're doing, because if you don't, then that's where you're going to lose money, and that's kind of what I'm afraid of, is because I don't know how to options trade at the moment. Mm-hmm. But once I take the course, I will have to, check back in and let you know how it's going.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then you let me know if I should invest in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, these current market conditions, we don't know what's going to happen with the market. Are there other ways you are trying to find more income, or how's your situation working right now?
As far as income, I just turned my, just trying to turn hobbies into payment. So like the past like month and a half, I've been doing basketball coaching at a middle school in my area, and it's been a lot of fun. It's like I love basketball, and I like being able to teach kids. So when I got the opportunity to coach, I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. So I've been doing that. It's like a little side gig or like second job.
Okay, nice. And you're really enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. The kids are fun. The thing is, I hate losing, and so like we lost in our first round playoff game, and it's tough because you want to be strong for the kids because they're already like sad about losing too, and you're like, then you're trying to like encourage them, like, oh, you guys did good, blah blah blah, like trying to like get them to like keep their spirits up, but like deep down inside you're like, oh, I hate this feeling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I've never been a coach on a sports team before, so we all like to win, right? Like it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So talking about winning, how are you close to your fire number? Let's go down that route and see, check in with each other and see where we're at with our fire numbers.
As far as my fire number, I am still a couple years out. So you're familiar with the mad scientist, right?
Yeah.
So he has a calculator on his website for free that will tell you how close you are to your fire number as you like update your net worth and stuff. So right now I am about 10 years and 6 months away from reaching my fire goal.
Okay, per the calculator?
Yeah, per the calculator. So I'm using that as like a rough estimate, and then from there I can try and speed that up by maybe just like investing more, investing differently, or ultimately my goal is like one day I'm gonna sell my house and then I'm gonna move out the country probably. So if I can move to a cheaper country, then I don't need as much money to hit my fire goal, or I can hit it faster, saving money, living somewhere else. So those are some options that I've been toying around with for speeding that process up a little bit. But overall, right now, I would say I'm probably about like 20% of the way there.
Okay.
What about you? How are you feeling about reaching your fire number?
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of incidences happen this year, and it's kind of set me back a little bit, and it's gotten me a little discouraged, I would say, and I think it's just hard to see where I was to where I am because I was saving 70% of my income, and just able to invest all of that, whereas now I am not saving 70% because I'm just dealing with all these other issues that are going on. But yeah, I think it's just currently I think my fire number is around 1 million, and I would say like I'm probably 1/10 of the way there, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
I think it's just because I honestly need to like get myself back on track from where I am now to where I should be. And I think that's just, sitting down and like being realistic about my numbers with everything that's happened this year, and taking accountability for my actions, and just, setting a realistic possibility of when I can actually hit fire, depending on how much income I can invest. So I have a little bit of work to do. I think your idea is fantastic. Moving to a low cost of living country where you can fire sooner and have your income go further. That is absolutely ideal.
Mhm.
But I think I'm still far away from that possibility. However, we're taking baby steps right now to get to that point, right?
Oh yeah, gotta take tiny steps. Now, have you thought about moving out of, I guess, like even just like your area that you're in now to reach your fire goal faster?
Taking that into account, I've looked at the numbers, and it's actually currently better for me to stay where I'm at just because I'm house hacking, and all my expenses are covered with housing. Whereas
Mhm.
if I moved out of this area, which is not going to happen, then I would most likely lose the income that I'm currently making on my house.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah. One thing I've been considering also is I'm trying. I've been trying to learn. Well, I should say I've been looking into learning like some type of like coding skills or whatever. That way I could get into an even higher paid position and then possibly work remotely. And then I'd really be able to hit my fire goal because I would sell my house and then I could move to a different country even faster and work and live in their dollars and keep saving.
yeah. There are a lot of people who work two jobs in order to pursue their fire goals faster, right? I think it all comes down to your attitude about it, your mentality, and like how hard you're willing to work, your work ethic into it. And I think, with the right mentality and the right work ethic, I think there's nothing that can stop you. So I think, just being realistic about where you're at and the steps you need to take to get there. And I think you can do it, right? So I think it's just for me, I need to start taking it one step at a time, being like, hey, like, here's where I'm at, and there's where I want to go, and like, how do I go from point A to point B, right? Like, I'm going to map that out.
Yeah.
And so I think a good realistic expectation for me is to be like, hey, let's get back into saving a little bit more of my income. To a point where I can get back to where I was, which would be nice.
Yeah, totally. Because I know, like, I feel like a lot of people get discouraged when they watch or they listen to all these people's like stories because of the mindset change that they have to go through. And then they feel like they have to do everything all at once instead of like taking those baby steps, like one thing at a time, and then build your way up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone is different in the way they think, and I think there are a lot of people who have that delayed gratification mindset, and there are a lot of people who don't. And I think the people who don't have the patience to pursue fire, which obviously is a very broad statement, but there are a lot of people who don't like the idea of fire because they want to make $1 million off of a penny stock, or win the lottery or something, which realistically is not going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean that 1 point something billion, that's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard not to try for that.
Well, I mean, it depends on if you want to put your money there. Yeah, I mean,
No, it's funny because I know like there's a couple of us who pool our money together to buy just like a $20 ticket, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna win this time. But I mean, in actuality, it's just kind of like a fun thing to do with like a group of friends. But I'm okay doing it because it's only like $2 every, like maybe like once a month. When it gets up to like the 1 billion mark, we're like, all right, let's buy a ticket.
Okay. Yeah, you also have to have fun on the journey, right? Like you have to do stuff you're gonna be happy you did once you hit fire.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of important to also realize is that once you get to the end of the road, there's still going to be more of a journey that you just didn't anticipate. And you'll want to look back on your journey and be happy that you did what you did, right?
Oh yeah, you still want to be able to live a life without regrets, right? And most people regret the things they didn't do more than the things that they did.
I agree. Yeah. It's crazy to think about. I think there's a good book on that too, and I just forget the name of it. But it was like it's a book about a nurse who like interviewed people on their deathbed and like their biggest regrets in life, and so then she made it into a book. But yeah, I think there are absolutely people who have more regrets from not living than those who did.
Oh yeah. Now, question about your fire number.
Okay.
Do you have your fire number with a future partner, like expenses like built in, or like future like, kids and stuff? Or you just, I'm gonna hit my fire and then maybe a potential relationship will come like later. I'll think about that later.
This is a fantastic question. Taking a moment to think about my words very carefully here. Currently, I think depending on your life situation, your fire number can be updated according to where you're at in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I think based on this entire year overall, my fire number needs to be updated. Was it calculating for those expenses? No, it wasn't. But life happens sometimes, and you never know what life is going to send your way. So I think, if you plan for the unknown, sometimes that's okay, right? Because if you make it on the more conservative side, then if something happens, you can be like, okay, like I planned for this. Like I know this was a possibility. So, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. I'm just throwing that idea out there because I know, like, my fire number is set with all that in mind because I have it like more than like my actual spend. It's like my actual spend is like almost less than 40,000 a year. So I have it instead of like the 25 times my income, I have it at like 30 just to have, just in case future anything. And then if I need to, I can have more money to splurge. If all else fails, I can take a couple more fancy vacations and stay at more like 5-star hotels instead of like maybe 3.5 or 4-star.
Well, let me also ask you this, right? Is your fire number taking into account your real estate? So, like, let's say you kept your real estate and you were house hacking and you had all your expenses covered. All right, housing is such a big expense once we hit retirement that what if, you could retire sooner because you didn't have to account for living? What if you were just going to live in the house that you house hacked?
My fire number, I guess, technically doesn't, because like right now I'm calculating from like getting like no extra income a month. That's what I'm not even considering like Social Security and all that stuff in the future. I'm like, this is my number without needing any extra income. So, I mean, if I eventually do like move and house hack, a house or two, then I guess I could lower it, but I'd rather be conservative and plan for like no extra money coming in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I struggle with is, my current situation is it might not always be the situation that it's going to be in my life. Mm-hmm. So I think that makes sense. Because I'd always thought about, what if I'm closer to fire than I think because I have housing covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there are things to think about. And when life happens and, the unknowns come up, like I had no idea that I was going to be in the hospital this many times this year. That was definitely an unknown that I did not plan for. But luckily enough, my HSA covered any expenses that I had. So, yeah, it's just been a interesting year for sure. And so, just trying to get back on track and make sure that I take an account of where I am right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, how's everything else going in your life? Did you start a new job recently?
Not recently, but I'm still working at the contract position with the staffing agency.
Yeah,
and I'm still at my current placement. I feel like I've been there forever, and I feel like this year has been going by so quick.
Yeah, this year definitely has flown by. There are parts that feel like they haven't, but here we are in November, and one more month, and then we'll be in 2023.
Yeah, I'm just counting the days for the market to start going back up.
If you found a way to time it, you let me know, bud, and we'll hit fire in about a year.
Oh man, I wish, but yeah, just taking each day as it comes. Still single and looking. So if there's any fans out there, just let
Greg
let me know.
That's funny. Are you pursuing any other ways to increase your income? Like, are you pursuing any side hustles?
Um, no. Like I said, I was looking into, maybe um, changing career paths with like a certification or two and like something in IT, so I can just boost my income that way.
Okay.
But no, just haven't gotten really serious about doing it because I'm like, do I really want to pay for like a course or whatever? And then it's like, I was pursuing my master's degree for a minute, and then I was like, oh, I hate studying, I hate doing this. And then the pandemic hit. Then I was like, all right, it's my excuse. I can stop. Then I'm like, do I want to go back and finish?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? Like, is it going to actually increase your income?
Yeah. So I feel like at this point, I would be getting a master's just to say I have a master's degree.
Yeah. And, is it worth it, right? Like, if the money you're spending pursuing your master's could be better spent somewhere else, and your
Yeah.
income limit is already capped where you're at, so you have the possibility of making more money with a master's.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all good questions to ask when you're kind of like thinking about where to go. And I don't think there's a right answer. I think it's whatever you decide is best for your life. I think is the way you should go about it. And I understand the feeling of not liking to study because I was not like once I left college I was like, yep, not going back. Like I'm okay, thank you.
Right.
Um. So yeah, I was very fortunate to have the GI Bill and have the GI Bill pay for all of my college. So I came out with no student loans. Um, and I think it's just I've been in a very fortunate situation. I'm trying to make the most of it.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah, that's definitely clutch. Because like my undergrad degree was paid for by my parents, and then my master's degree is what I had to pay like out of pocket, and then I got reimbursed from work, but I still ended up with like just under 10 grand in student loans. And then I'm like, then like the new Biden administration, uh, debt relief. I was like, yes. So the money I had saved up for like the 0% uh, moratorium, I was gonna pay as soon as it ended. But now I'm like, all right, if I get that balance, um, if I get that balance forgiven, then I could put that savings that I had for the loan right into the market. And then all right, that should be another boost towards my fire goal there.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic.
But what's going on with you? What else is new? Any ladies in your life? Any anything else you wanna share? What's going on with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just I'm looking at debt and trying to see how fast I can pay it down and whether or not it actually makes sense to based on the interest rates of the loans. Currently, I don't have credit card debt, but I do have a car payment and a motorcycle payment. So my car payment's at 4%, and so in my mind, I'm just like, why not just pay the minimum, invest the rest? I can still based on the returns of the VTSAX, the U.S. Total Stock Market Index. I
Mm-hmm.
could make money while just paying the minimum off on my car, but I also don't like having debt. But I'm trying to find the best way and the smartest way to go about using the debt to my advantage. So I think just kind of reevaluating a few things and changing course where I see fit. But I think that's just one of the obstacles that is currently in my way. So that once I can no longer need to allocate that money towards those debts, I'll just continue to add it to my investments.
Smart. Yeah, I'm there with you
Yeah,
because I have a car payment that's like 2%. But I'm like, it's 2%. I'm like, do I want to pay it off? I mean, because the balance isn't that much. So I'm like, all right, I can keep investing, or I can just pay this off real quick.
yeah,
But
it's a good question to ask, right? Like, because you just don't like. On one hand, you don't want to hold the debt, and on the other, it just makes more financial sense to make money on the debt by investing anything you were going to add to that debt and putting it into the market. Should the market return an average of 8% that year, or above the interest rate of your debt? I think it just depends on what you want to do with your life, right? And that's why the fire journey is so unique, is that you can really tailor it to your own experience and to what works for your situation and what doesn't. And so, there are numerous resources out there dedicated to helping us on the journey. And as the community grows, I think more and more resources are going to come out and kind of help lead the way for people to be more knowledgeable in the personal finance area. There's so many great resources out there right now, and I think it just depends on what resonates the most with you in your journey. Whether that be Mr. Money Mustache or the Mad Scientist or a numerous or personal finance club, like whatever works for you is most likely what you're going to go with.
or the Love Life and Pursuit of Fi guys.
Yeah.
Gotta plug us in there too.
Yeah. Yep. For all of our fans out there who are listening, more and more episodes will be coming out, and we're looking forward to being able to join you guys, have you join us on our journey as we pursue fire. And so I think, Greg, I think this is a good place for us to let our viewers enjoy the rest of their day. And next week's episode should be just as great as this one.
I concur with that statement. Well, it's been good seeing you. Until next time, this has been Life, Love, and Pursuit of Fi. I'm Greg Gaskin.
I'm Austin Culp.
See you guys.
Have a good day.